Welcome back, everybody, and welcome to Hitting the Field Main Show. I'm your main show host, Dominic Moller, and we got a spooky episode. Happy Halloween, everybody. We're going to be talking NBA so far, how the league's kind of been shaken up, and little predictions on what the league will look like in the future. And then we're going to be talking, of course, NFL Week 7 recaps and the Super Bowl favorites. And then for segment 3, we got a Halloween special for you. I'm going right into the spooky mode, so you're not going to want to miss it, because Hitting the Field starts right now.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm joined by Maddie Glass, making her debut on Hitting the Field Main Show. And then, of course, Jovanni St. Surin. He's back. And we're talking NBA. It's time to, this is Maddie's been waiting for this. This is her specialty. First, we're going to talk about title favorites. Way too early title favorites, just judging off of the first week. We have currently the top 4 that we've kind of thought of is Nuggets, Bucks, Celtics, and here's the controversial one, is the Lakers. Do you guys think the Lakers should be on that list, or should we just ship them away?
I mean, it's only a weekend, so you can keep them on there, but they haven't looked their best to start the season. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Jovanni.
Ship them away. I have them, honestly, making the playoffs, top 6. I don't have them as a contender. They're just not the most consistent team to me. So
Yeah, 38-year-old LeBron is playing 39 minutes a game.
After they said he would have a minutes restriction after game 1, he hasn't had that. Reeves hasn't been good to start the season. D'Lo, and none of their newcomers. They signed a lot. People that had a lot of hype in the offseason, none of them have really looked the part so far this season.
And it's sad to see because, they looked like they could have had a Cinderella-esque run last year. They were really clicking on all cylinders, and then they went against...
It's early, but...
I think the title favorite is, again, I think it's going to be the Denver Nuggets or actually the Milwaukee Bucks. I think Damian Lillard on that Milwaukee Bucks team is just great. But the Nuggets are just such a well-built team that they all play the game of basketball so well. And I'm going to quickly get your guys, who are your title favorites? Who's the team that you think is going to win it all this year?
I mean, my two, I'd take the Nuggets again. They look just absolutely unstoppable, especially they're coming back. They lost some players, but their young bench, they have a lot of young players off the bench. They've been good. Peyton Watson, Christian Braun. So that's really impressive to see. And then I'm going to go with the Celtics over the Bucks. I mean, the Bucks, obviously, we've seen what they can do, but I like the Celtics. They've already beat the Heat this season in New York, and Porzingis has fit right in along with Drew Holiday. And their defensive backcourt with Holiday and Derek White is just incredible and probably the best in the league. So I like them to win the East potentially, but I think the Celtics and Bucks are going to be neck and neck all season.
All right, and Jovanni, who's your title favorite?
I agree with Maddie. I have Denver, honestly. They're coming off a championship season. Jokic went out there first game, dropped a triple-double. Bruce Brown did leave, and he was a main part of their offense and especially their defense. But I feel like that gives Christian Brown just a little bit more space to grow. And for the East, I'll go with Milwaukee Bucks. I think Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo, they could be the best 1-2 punch in the league, especially with Dame shooting and Giannis's paint presence. But yeah, I'm excited to see how that plays out.
All right, now we're switching gears, and we're going to talk surprising teams of this season. Now, first, a little preference. These aren't teams that may win the whole thing, but these are teams...
I guarantee they're not.
Yeah, these are teams that are just going to surprise everybody, maybe make a playoff push or just kind of first-round exit, but still do way better than last year. I'm going to start with you, Jovanni. Actually, we're going to start with Maddie. Do we want to go Maddie or Jovanni?
I'll start.
I
I'll
want to get.
Sorry.
I want to get because I'm gonna mention my team and.
Oh, right.
Okay, we'll save the worst for last.
We'll save the worst. All right, we'll save the worst for last. That's okay.
Okay.
Jovanni, we'll start with you.
I'm gonna go with the hometown team, the Orlando Magic. After an underwhelming season last season, they finished 13th and they had a 34-48 record. But this first week in the NBA, they're number 1 in defense. Neither of their opponents scored over 100 points, and people don't know how hard that is, especially in 2023 in basketball nowadays. But obviously, they did play the Rockets and the Trailblazers, who are one of the youngest and most inexperienced
Some of the best teams ever. Yeah.
I know.
Top 5?
Yeah, Orlando is also young themselves.
They are. Yeah.
And what I've been trying to tell people, Markelle Fultz is a starting point guard in the league. He pushes the tempo. He's improved his shot ever since his Philly days. He's a great floor general, all-around player. He'll get you rebounds. He'll get you boards. Every once now and then, he'll drop 20 points. And I see them, I'll say, the second best team in Florida, second best in their division.
There's only 2 teams in Florida, by the way.
Second best.
Let's not put them over the Heat now. Like, we get it. But I also think Banchero is just great. I think that was a great pick. And
also forgot to mention Franz Wagner. He's been having a great season.
That's Maddie's dude, man. That's Maddie's dude. She loves Franz. Franz is great. He's coming from Germany. I mean, he's playing good. Now Maddie actually is going to talk about a team just as boring as the name Franz.
Yeah, Franz is not a boring name, you know. Well, I'm going with our other. I think this could be a play-in preview. The Pacers and the Magic. The Pacers won 35 games last season. But, you know, they started tanking at the end. Tyrese missed a few games. But so far this season, although they haven't played good opponents, I mean, they played better opponents than the Magic, but they have the best half-court offense in the NBA. They added Bruce Brown and Obi Toppin over the summer, drafted Jarris Walker, and Bruce Brown brings an element that they did not have last year. Like, he was great for the Nuggets last year, and now he's with the Pacers, and he scored like 25 points in the first game. I think he hit a few threes. And then you just have, I'm taking the bet on Tyrese Halliburton. I love Tyrese Halliburton. He's averaging 20 and 12 right now. And, you know, he's one of the best playmaking guards in the league, maybe the best. And it's a small sample size, but they scored like 143 points on the Washington Wizards, who we don't even know if they are an NBA team right now. But they also beat the Cavs and scored 125 points on them. And they're going to have a good defense. So I'm excited to see the Pacers. You know, they're an exciting team. Everyone thinks of Indiana as such a boring franchise, boring team, but this is not the same Pacers. I think they're going to be really exciting this year, really fun to watch, and play a lot of good games, and close games probably.
Yeah, I think the Wizards season summarized up is when Jordan Poole shot the 3 and turned around and was an absolute brick.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with my teams are, I'm going to say the real one is the Cavs. I think the Cavs are actually going to make a late playoff push. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. They could upset the Bucks or the Celtics and maybe make that Eastern Conference Finals game.
I don't know about that. Maybe they'll win a first-round series.
Yeah, but my real one, my passionate one, the one that I'm holding dearly, is the Chicago Bulls. Zach LaVine dropping 50 points. They lost. But
who did they lose to?
We don't have to talk about that, you know.
The Detroit
Pistons. Loss is a loss.
The worst team in the NBA last year.
But we won against the Raptors. It was whatever. But I think the big thing with the Bulls is getting that team to gel like we were when we had Lonzo Ball as that point guard. I think Caruso is actually playing an accelerated role. He's a great defender, underrated defender that no one really talks about. The only player that I am not as firm a believer in is old DeMar DeRozan.
What about Patrick Williams?
Old DeMar DeRozan.
I never liked Patrick Williams. DeMar DeRozan is getting to that point where he's trying to take over an offense like he was before, and he just can't do it the same. I think that we got to kind of look to play more team ball. Like we've only had.
They only averaged 20 assists per game so far.
So do you believe in Vucevic as your starting center?
Oh no, I hate our big man.
But
that's what I'm saying. We'll take a plan.
Their starters are all right. It's just the bench. They have like no depth.
We always have, yeah.
And they're paying these 3 guys a lot of money, and they signed Kobe White. Patrick Williams wants a contract. Caruso, great player. Maybe if they're like bad, they might trade him. So I could see a trade deadline sell for the Bulls. I don't know. DeMar's I think he's in the last year of his contract. Zach LaVine, he got a bag, but it's a big one. So they might want to get off of that. I could see them selling. I could see them going full tank for the rest of the season. and I just do not
I
see.
absolutely disagree. Why do we need to tank when we're going to be
Because you
racing?
guys are in the worst place in the NBA. They're right in the middle. They aren't good, but they're not going to win a playoff series. They might not even make the playoffs, and they're not going to get a high draft pick. I really don't know what their plan is. They have no plan. Their defense is going to be bad. Their offense is going to be inconsistent.
Well, just as we're wrapping up, I'm going to get your guys' costumes first. Maddie,
Oh, yes. I am
dressed up as today.
My two partners aren't here with me, but I am a Men in Black member.
Okay, and Jovanni?
Myself, I'm the one guy that everybody wanted to be in the 2000s. I could be Soulja Boy, I could be anybody, man. So just want to let you know.
Hey, that's what we like to hear. Well, this has been it for segment 1. We'll be right back with segment 2. Thank you guys so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back. Hello there, everybody. My name is Dominic Moller, and welcome to Hitting the Field Network. Our first show that you're going to see on YouTube is Hitting the Field Main Show, hosted by yours truly on Mondays at noon, where you'll see me with a fresh fade and fresh news. I'll also be talking a little bit of the hottest topics in sports, and we are going to be arguing mainly on there. On Tuesdays at noon, you'll see Isaiah De Anda Delgado and Ty Patton on the Combine, just more of a podcast, laid-back style of a show. And if you're looking for the most creative segment ideas, head on over there on Tuesday. On our off day, don't forget to check out the studio vlogs on Wednesdays. Andrew Montano does a great job of giving a little bit of the behind-the-scenes look into Hitting the Field. Moving to Thursdays, speaking of Andrew Montana, him, Philip Powell, and Ezra Hines lead the way on HTF Bets. The Bets boys always come dressed to impress, and if you're looking to win some money and catch up on the latest betting lines, that's the show for you. On Fridays, you're going to head over and see Maddie Glass and the always wrong Tyler Brownrigg on Nighttime to break down everything about college sports. If you go to UCF or are interested in UCF sports, this is the best place for you. Sorry, Tyler. Our newest show here at Hitting the Field on Saturdays is Girl Talk, hosted by Kirsten Blaylock and Lexi Zolo. The all-female hosted show tackles breaking news all across the sports world and as well reliving the history and current state of your favorite team. Check that show out Saturdays at noon. Again, I am your main show host, Dominic Moller, and if you're enjoying this content, don't be afraid to subscribe to our Hitting the Field YouTube and check out our Instagram. But for now, that's all. I'll see you on Main Show. Take care. And welcome back, everybody. I'm joined by Jared Fox. I'm the Rizzler. I'm gonna call him. We're color coordinated right now, a little bit.
Green boys.
And Bank Heist Zone, more money heists. Ron Perretti, do a face reveal with Ron. Give the people what they want to see. Boom. It almost looks like an accelerated version of you with that. The mustache actually grows out.
We're trying to grow it.
But we're going to talk NFL. We're going to talk, first off, we're going to get a Week 7 summary. I'm going to get your guys' biggest winners and losers of Week 7. Jared, who do you have as maybe the biggest winner? We could talk about different plays, different things. I personally think the Bengals look like the best because everybody was doubting them, and we all said Joe Burrow is going to come back and he's going to look good. It's just we're just getting we're touching the surface before we get into the next part.
No, you took my shine. I was going to say the Bengals 100%. I mean, Joe Burrow's back. And the Bengals do this every year. They start off a little slow, and then, they start to surprise people. But it's not a surprise at this point. They do the same thing every single year, like I said. They're gonna. I can't say they're gonna win out. That's a little crazy. Yeah. But they're gonna end the season with easily double-digit wins, and I think that they could still win this division easily.
Yeah, and then over to you, Ron. We obviously are gonna talk a little bit about the biggest loser. In my opinion, it's gonna have to be the Vikings because they just lost their main quarterback. That's why. I mean, there's a lot of teams that record-wise it's gonna be different, but I think to set up the future, the Vikings look like they had a good momentum pace, but without Kirk Cousins, what are they really going to do right now?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think the Vikings are absolutely the biggest loser. I know Jack's looking sad behind the camera, but I mean, they were catching fire, right? Like, you're finding out Addison can be a really good number 2. You get Justin Jefferson back, your run game's starting to establish a little bit, and now you're kind of like in a limbo because now you don't know where your season's going. So I think it was a tough win for the Vikings, even though they actually won. They actually ended up as losers.
Yeah, and now actually cycling over to a more positive note, we're talking way too early Super Bowl picks. I'm going to start with you first, Ron, because you have a pretty interesting one. Your team, this is the team to win the Super Bowl, by the way, in your opinion. So, Ron, take it away, man.
I think I think it's going to have to be, like, I don't want to just because they beat the 49ers, but I think the Bengals are going to end up being my team to win. But to give you a little different answer, I'm going to Jacksonville. Right here, stay in the state of Florida. I'm going Jacksonville. I think they have been playing pretty good, right? That's 5 wins in a row for them. They face the 49ers next. I think we're going to find out who they are more when they play the 49ers. But they have just been a good team overall, and I think if they keep playing this way, I think they'll be able to win.
So you think they scrap it kind of together? Jared, what do you think of his pick? I know you will get to your pick, don't worry.
Listen.
What do you think about the Jaguars?
I actually like the Duval pick. I think that the Jags do definitely have a good shot. They're definitely going to win the division. Like, they're going to take the division away, like, by far. They're going to blow them out by, like, 5 wins. But, you know, I don't mind you saying that they're going to win the Super Bowl, but I don't know. They're not my pick. My pick is, listen, man, I know that they've been down in the dumps lately. I know they've been down in the dumps. I know I'm not going to say the Steelers. I'm not that idiotic, okay? It's going to be the 49ers. I'm sorry. It's going to happen. Brock Purdy's going to get his swagger back. And, you know, they just have still the best overall team, in my opinion.
Yeah, and we have to talk about Brock Purdy, actually, because he hasn't played great as of late in these past 3 games. Obviously, injuries are still prone. But when this team was fully healthy, I think everybody was kind of switching the role to being like, yo, this team is a legit Super Bowl favorite. But, Ron, now flipping the coin to you, what do you think about Jared's pick? You know, do you agree that the 49ers can make this push, or you think it's just overhyped?
Man, it's tough because 3 weeks ago I thought they were by far the best team in the league, and now like they're 5-3. You know, I don't know. I just think it's such a tough. They still have a good team. I don't want to say they don't have a good team. They still have a very, very good team, very capable team. But I'm saying, can they beat the Eagles like in Philadelphia? I don't know if they can do that. I don't know. Like they could have beat Cincinnati at home. And like Cincinnati's a great team, but I don't know if they can like compete with Philly. It's just I think they'll get better. They'll make the playoffs. Obviously, they'll probably be the 2 seed, 3 seed at worst.
They'll be the 1.
I don't think they'll be the 1. Man,
Listen.
Philly's not losing. Philly's not losing.
We'll get to, don't worry, guys. We'll get to Philly. That's my
Philly's
pick
not
later
losing.
on. But we have to talk about a little bit with touching back on your pick because I want to touch on this. Your division, I would say the AFC is way more competitive than the NFC. So you think the Jags are going to beat out the Chiefs, the Bills, either the Dolphins maybe even in there, or the Bengals to really make this Super Bowl push? Do you see a route where, because they're going to have to play a good team, don't get me wrong. They're going to have to play a really good team. You think they overcome this then?
I think kind of what Jay was talking about, their division is easy. So they will get a top 3 seed, right? Top 4, maybe. I mean, I think they'll get a top 3. Top 2 if things really go their way. But Kansas City really hasn't shown out this season that they are by far the best team in the league, right? No, no. You're not hearing me out. Usually at this point, we're like, dang, nobody can touch Kansas City. But they just lost to Denver. They have kept games close.
Second loss.
So they're definitely touchable, in a way.
Flu game. Get this guy out of here, man.
I think they are. The Bills are frauds. Bills are frauds.
I can agree that the Bills are overhyped.
The Bills are not frauds.
Bengals do worry me because Bengals they catch fire.
Yeah.
It's tough. But I just don't think Kansas City has been that team that you just can't beat this year. Same thing with like Cincinnati.
Well, you also have the Dolphins, who are probably the best offensive team in the league right now, but they could be overhyped. Don't get me wrong.
They haven't been a good team. They haven't been a good team.
They
yet.
haven't.
They haven't.
They haven't.
They have not beaten a team with a winning
they haven't
record.
proved themselves in the playoffs yet. That's why I wouldn't be in on them.
Right.
Kansas City has only lost twice.
Yeah.
They have been able to make something out of nothing of their season, I feel, and they've been able to kind of grasp this. I would say that Kansas City's the favorite in the AFC.
I can agree.
I still agree with you.
I did say the Bengals were going to make the Super Bowl. I did before. I said they were going to make the Super Bowl on the AFC side. I have been saying that forever. But now the real juggernaut team, the Super Bowl favorite that I have been saying since the beginning of the year, and I said they were going to win the Super Bowl this year, and they were my favorite. I guess I'm just hitting all targets. It's the Philadelphia Eagles. And everybody was jumping off the wagon. They said, oh, the Eagles look like crap this year or this and that. No, they don't. They're finding their own. They're settling into their offense, and they're winning games. At the end of the day, are they winning games? Yeah. Yes. I don't really care that they're not blowing a team out by 30 like Dolphins or dropping 60 points like the Dolphins. I don't really care about that. I care about the W's on the leaderboard. the 49ers I do see as their biggest competition. I think we all kind of see that with the NFC side. NFC's kind of up in the air. I don't think the Cowboys will play in the playoffs. But now we're going to get your guys' opinions. What do you think about my pick? Do you agree with the Eagles pick? I know you're a 49ers guy, so.
So here's my problem with the Eagles. I think they definitely, they're either going to be the 1 or the 2 seed, 100%. There's no arguing that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, unless the Cowboys somehow win the division, which I don't see.
Big game this week, though. Does the Cowboys show up and win this week?
That is true.
Kill the noise.
The Cowboys,
Kill the
the
noise.
defense looked good, but.
Kill the noise. Kill
Yeah.
the noise. Matthew Stafford had a bum thumb. Kill that. Okay? Listen, the 49ers and the Eagles will play in the NFC Championship. And this time, if Brock Purdy's healthy and the 49ers have a quarterback, they're going to play with a vengeance. And I think that they are going to beat the Eagles because the Eagles have shown to have several weaknesses, and their biggest weakness is making Jalen Hurts uncomfortable. So if they can make Jalen Hurts uncomfortable, then I really do think that the 49ers can do it. And listen, Christian McCaffrey will rip them to pieces, okay? I don't care about their run defense. I don't care that they have their best run defense in the league. Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in the league, and they have not seen him yet this year.
Now, Ron, I got to get your point before I absolutely rebuttal all of you with my line, but.
I just don't know how you can say that after the last 3 games. Like, Philadelphia has been the most consistent. And this reminds me of, like, Kansas City from last year, right? Everyone's like, oh, Kansas City is, like, whatever, like, they're going to lose again. No, they just won games, got home field, and won and got their way to a Super Bowl. I think the Eagles is going to be the same thing. I don't even know, like, San Francisco is a good team, but, like, the Eagles are just winning. They have beaten every team that's in their way. And they, while you say making Jalen Hurts comfortable, look at this week. Absolutely just took off the whole second half. I know it's Washington.
They almost lost to Washington.
But they're 7-1.
It's weird. Washington is always like the Eagles' kryptonite because Washington almost. This is the easiest way to kind of gauge this. Washington a week before almost beat the Eagles. Like they lost last second in overtime, and then the next week they got blown out by the Chicago Bears. So Washington against the Eagles plays way better than any other team. So. The Eagles' kryptonite is probably Washington. Obviously, I don't think Washington's going to end up making the playoffs.
And you know why? Because of their D-line, which the best part about the 49ers defense is their D-line. So trust me, the 49ers are going to beat them. Listen, I'm sick of the recency bias. I'm so sick of it. Brock Purdy got concussed, not yesterday, but the week before. He got concussed, and he played awfully. He threw 2 interceptions after that, looked completely different. And then this week, he shouldn't have even played. The fact that he passed concussion protocol needs to be examined because he was 100% not himself.
Coming from
yesterday.
a Dolphins fan, I agree. They need to start doing better with concussion protocol. I will say this though: the reason that the Eagles are going to win is because I picked them.
Oh my God.
We got to wrap up this segment. First off, you'll get your guys' costumes. I kind of already said it, but just for you to say. Jared, what are you dressed as specifically?
I'm dressed as the Riddler, as you can see. Batman in the dumps. Am I right, Ty Patton?
and then Ron, your side, what are you dressed as?
I'm dressed as Robert from Money Heist. Something easy, something calm.
Yeah, and I'm dressed as Donatello.
Hey.
You like that? You like that play on words?
I did like that.
We'll be right back with segment 3, where we're actually going to be going into the top 5 most feared athletes of all time. So stick around. In the field, we'll be right back.
So, Tyler Brownrigg. It says in my notes you're an Oklahoma fan.
That is correct.
So, let me ask you, bud. Is Texas back?
All right, I put on a brave face a lot, but this year, I'm really scared that they are, man. Okay, they just beat Alabama. They're going to be top 4 in the rankings. And last year, they beat us 48-0.
Yeah.
It was humiliating. We're the Oklahoma Sooners. We were the best ever. We were talk of the town. We had Baker, Kyler, and Jalen 3 years in a row. And now, are we good? I don't know. We haven't won a national title since 2000. We're number 18, I think, and nothing matters, dude.
Sometimes we build up these walls thinking they're impenetrable. But sometimes you have to knock these walls down to build up bigger and stronger ones. And you got to be tough through that. It's hard being an Oklahoma fan at this time, but grass is always going to be greener on the other side of the hill, buddy.
Is it? I cannot live through a Texas national championship. I can't. I'll never recover.
Do you want to talk about Lincoln Riley?
What'd you just say to me?
I just want to know if you want to talk about Lincoln Riley.
You listen here, you court-ordered quack.
Welcome back, everybody. Like last week, we're getting mobile. We're going into the top 5 most feared athletes of all time. Now it's Halloween, so of course, it's time for the scares to come out. A day before Halloween was the night before Christmas, as we'll say, but it was the day before Halloween, and I'll hit a little limbo. I'll get my athleticism going for the morning, but everybody here, as you can see, I won in chess over here. But we're gonna get right into it. This is gonna be some unknown players, but I'll show you why they are. The top 5 most feared athletes of all time. Let's get right into it. Zdeno Chara. Nobody may know him. He's a 6'9", 250-pound defenseman for the Boston Bruins, one of the best defensemen of all time, and he is an absolute behemoth of a man. Everybody that ran into him full speed, look at him just towering over everybody. And when it came to fighting, he won every fight, and then he would put them in a chokehold, go over them, and he often would bark in their face. Guy I don't want to mess with. Number 4, of course, is Ray Lewis. The aura, the hits, one of the best linebackers of all time. This guy was a real scary dude. You did not want to catch a slant across the middle with him there. I mean, you could kind of see with these highlights. He's just laying everybody out. Super Bowl champion, greatness also, but I'm going to stay away from this guy. On the Hurricanes, too, when he was on Miami, you did not want to mess with this dude. But Ray Lewis, I mean, is there really a list without Ray Lewis? There he is. A little fun thing. He's hitting the dance, and he's getting ready for warfare. Third, you guys may not know him, Sébastien Chabot. He's known as the Caveman. He is a French rugby player, and he's one of the scariest. He's known as the scariest rugby player of all time. And you can kind of see whenever he would tackle somebody, he would bark at them, he would growl in their face, and most times he would bite them. So this is back then. Now modern rugby, they don't really let this slide, but this dude was a behemoth of a man too. Like I said, they called him the Caveman, and you could see he'd go over you, he'd hit you and go right over your face and let you know that he just laid you out, breathe in your face, get all over everybody. And this is a dude that I saw when I was watching rugby highlights, and he had an imprint in my mind. This is rugby, by the way. There's no equipment, there's no protection. It's just straight body-on-body contact. And this man, you don't want to mess with him. He'd hit you, land on you with his huge frame. Number 2 is Lawrence Taylor. The highlights don't do it justice as well. You know, he was scary off the field as well. His aura off the field was even scarier than his presence on the field. One of the best defensive players of all time. Some consider him the best. So it's not just his play, but off the field, this guy was kind of scary. We're not going to get into what he allegedly did with, you know, the different types of things he was taking before a game. But that just led to his aggressiveness that was building up on the field. But hey, listen, this guy you don't want to mess with. And number 1, of course, is Mike Tyson. This guy, I don't want to, you could just see. If he's not number 1, I don't know what else it was. When he was at his prime, I think everybody in America was scared of this guy. He was knocking people out in the first round. This is heavyweights, too. And he's a short guy, and he's knocking these heavyweights out easily. Mike Tyson, his pre-fight talk would also be crazy. I don't know, man. Biting an ear, come on, man. He did not mess around. Something was wrong with him in the head. Now he's a chill guy. He's a chill guy now. I will say now he's a nice guy. He does a little podcast and everything. But when he was boxing in his prime, he would walk out with nothing on, just drenched in sweat, and he'd be ready for warfare. And that's my top 5 most feared. And this has been Hitting the Field Main Show, the Halloween special. So you know we had to throw in something spooky for the end. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next week. And see ya.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the When I make a highlight, they gon' replay running.